So, I've got a copy of Dragon Power here I just picked up, and the thing I do with all my Nintendo games that I get is I clean them. First thing I do is I clean them, and I'm just going to show you how I go about doing that in this short little video. So, let's get started. What you'll need is a security bit. This is a 3.8 millimeter security bit. I picked this up off of eBay. It was like $4 or $5, I forget, and it came with a second one that will open up Sega Genesis games and I believe the Super Nintendo cartridges. So all you need to do really is you don't really have to attach this to a screwdriver. I just put them in and turn them by hand until the screw is loose in there. You'll hear it click a couple times. That's it. Skipping on the thread. Hear that? It means it's pretty much out at that point. I'm just going to take these out. And the reason I'm wearing latex gloves is because the contact inside, we want to clean that, but we also don't want to get any, grease from our hands or on the terminals, because that's just going to cause further corrosion and cause more troubles down the road. So once you get these 3 screws open, some cartridges have 5, but you just pull this forward a little bit after you lift up, and it just lifts out like that. I'm just going to put that on the side. As we can see here, I'll just lift this up with the bottom piece. We have some corrosion along those pins. Not too bad. I've seen worse. If you can see that okay. A lot of muck and filth on there. There's a lot of debates on what you should use and what you shouldn't use to clean these things. I'm going to show you how I do it and explain a little bit along the way. Well, first, I'm going to make everybody angry and assume that I'm doing this the wrong way by using Windex. But my final step will give us the outcome we're looking for, and you'll see why I'm able to use Windex. So I'm just going to grab a face cloth like this. I'm going to spray the corner my Windex. You don't ever want to spray directly onto the game cartridge itself, because you don't need that much liquid, and you don't want it getting underneath of the ICs or anything like that. So then I'm just going to take this, my finger underneath, and just go along all these terminals. You can also see that there's some white gunk there right along the edge where the plastic meets. I don't know, looks like somebody probably spilled their cereal on it or something, but the Windex will clean all this up for us. So that's going off, coming off nicely. I'm just going to take this and go around and try to get the major stuff off. Don't really need crazy muscle power or anything. That's one side. You can see that there's still stuff on it, but it's starting to clean up some. And there's our Cheerios stains. Right in there, nice. Get all that icky gunk out. And a lot of the corrosion we're seeing here on these pins, believe it or not, is from blowing into the cartridge itself. You should never blow in your Nintendo games, because when you blow inside the Nintendo games, you're actually spitting on them in essence, because the moisture coming out of your mouth, and that, you know, adheres to these contacts and then makes it filmy and sticky from your spit or whatever you were eating that day. And these, you know, they'll tend to get gumped up with all kinds of dirt and residue that we just don't like seeing on our games. Okay, so at this point, I got the basic cleaning down. We can still see, you know, that we have a little oxidation on there. It's a little dull and not as clean as we could get it. So at this point, I'm going to bust out my little secret weapon. We're going to use 2000 grit sandpaper. And I wouldn't go any lower than this, because what we're doing is we're basically going to be sanding these pins here. But we need to do it very lightly. It's the same idea as using a magic eraser. That is basically a sandpaper block with high grit around 2000 to 3000 grit. So I just use the automotive 2000 grit sandpaper. We're going to be basically sanding these pins down here to give them a final shine. And what we can do, I'm going to take some Scotch tape or magic tape, whatever you want to call it, and I'm just going to cover the PCB protectant here, like so. And I'm just doing this. It's not, the 2000 grit is not enough to really penetrate the green covering there. I'm just doing it so it doesn't, you know, scratch it up and make it look icky. I'm just going to take off a little piece like that of the 2000 grit sandpaper, and I'll hold this in place. I'm just going to go up and down the board like so. Just holding it down. Nice and polished. It looks a little funny at first because you're moving all of that debris off. You don't want to overdo it. Not that you can really overdo it, but if you do it too much, you'll actually see the copper underneath of this gold, because this is a gold covering. And if you did it for, you know, 5 minutes or something on one spot, you'd end up seeing the copper come through, and you don't want that. And once you get one side done, I'll just take the dry part of my face cloth and just dust it. And you'll be able to see here that our pins are quite clean at this point. Got nice reflective shine on there, looks pretty much brand new. And we can compare it to the other side. See, it's shiny, but you can see the gunk on there. At this point, we can remove our Scotch tape from the one side. Then again, Move my sandpaper out of the way. We have that spot that we've moistened with our terrible Windex that you should never use. You can use it. It's fine. If you're gonna polish with some 2000 grit at the end, it's really not gonna be a big deal. That was a basic cleaning. Let that Windex dry off. Pins don't look too bad. Grab Scotch tape. Cover the green section. Like so. That looks nice, and then I'm going to take my little piece of sandpaper that I've pulled off. I'm going to hold this down, and we're going to polish this side. And the thing is, we're using Scotch tape here, or magic tape, whatever you want to call it, and that stuff's pretty thin, and the sandpaper that I'm using is not going through the tape. So we're not really being that abrasive on the cartridge itself. I'm going to say that side is done. So I can remove my tape. And with the dry portion of our cloth, we can dust it. Now we're completely dry. We've sanded, so any residual film that the Windex may have left on there, that's going to be gone. And we're not going to have any film from our hands because we have our crafty latex gloves on. So that game looks great at this point. I hope this is, you know, helped you in some way. This is just the way I clean my games. When I get them, I do this first before I ever even try the game, because my system is very clean. I've cleaned that with a eliminator. I'll show that in another video. Yeah, you don't want to put something dirty into something clean, because the something clean will be something dirty. Alright, and all you have to do at this point is we can go in here and clean this case out and put it back together. I'm just going to take my face cloth again. Just get in here where you can. If you need to, you can grab yourself a Q-tip. And maybe put some Windex in a cap and clean out the edges. All that spit from 25 other people that may have owned this game. So when you're doing this, take some caution. Use common sense and don't do anything drastic or force anything. Don't use any sandpaper that's, a lower grit. Anything lower than 2000 is going to start really showing up. Is the 2000 because it's for bodywork, automotive bodywork, and it gives you a polished shine. And that's what I'm going for on my connections on my cartridge. I'm just putting this back together with my security bit. I'll also have another video. We're just going to do this finger tight as well and not force it. A little shake there, we'll tighten it up a little more. Make sure it's in there good. Okay. Yeah, so that's the main part. I'll go over cleaning the externals of a cartridge, you know, like removing stickers and the dirt, making this look better. I might even do another video on repro stickers for the cartridge, as some of these get pretty damaged. But yeah, that was my main goal today, was just to show you how to clean the actual PCB inside. And hope you learned something. If you have any questions, you can comment below, or you know how YouTube works. So that's it. We'll see you later. Thanks for watching.